How's it going, everyone? It is a very cold morning, but it is all right because if you saw our last video, we actually ended up being in quarantine for a while and I was building completely by myself. But today is an exciting day because we've got Dalton back. Hey guys. Dalton, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, ready to get back at it. It's been a while.
Can you taste and smell yet?
Slowly, yeah. I started getting my smell back a couple days ago, so I'll like get a whiff of something and then it'll go away and then it'll come back and then yeah, that's about it.
Can you smell the cedar ceiling?
No, it's disappointing.
Also, since Dalton is back.
Hi!
It's good to have you back.
Glad to be back.
Guess what we're doing today? Cabinet doors!
Cabinet doors!
All right, so we got everyone back. We're all good. It is great to have people back around and we're not just kind of like, you know, hanging out in the garage all by ourselves. But today what we're gonna be doing is actually the cabinet doors. And then because I had a good conversation over on Patreon with some people over there about our water system, I think I'm actually gonna move where I put the water pump and water accumulator. So I put the water pump and the water accumulator here thinking that was a good location. But the issue here that Blake over on Patreon came up with was that when I put the sink in, this units are actually gonna be a little blocked and it's gonna be difficult if I ever need to service them. There's gonna be about 4 inches in between that and the sink, but it's kind of one of those things where you don't think about it now until you gotta replace it. So thank you for bringing that up. I think what I'm gonna do is move these actually down here to the floor and then put like a top cap so then we have the whole upper area and then all the water systems hidden below. So today, me and Dalton are gonna be doing cabinets, getting all the doors put on, and then also moving this water system. We got our first 8x24-ish inch sheet cut right here, and we cut it out of an 8-foot sheet of plywood because what I am trying to do is when we actually cut this down, we're gonna be able to match the grain lines down the entire like length of the kitchen. So that piece of 8-foot sheet is gonna essentially come all the way down here. So now what we have to do is we actually have to cut, you know, our widths for the doors, but it's gonna be pretty cool, I think. It might look cool that all the grain lines actually match up in terms of like how they go through. But what we're gonna be doing is lower doors that's gonna match up with that cabinet right there. Those are gonna be doors. And then right up here, we're gonna have a drawer, a false face for the sink, and then we already have a drawer in there, and then that will get a top. So it kind of is gonna be this kind of frameless, leaving 1/8-inch lines in between each drawer. So now what we have to do is figure out our widths and how we actually wanna cut the doors down. We gotta get some measurements done, and we'll see what the first one looks like. So Dalton and I just got this one cut down to size. We left an 1/8-inch gap on this side and an 1/8-inch gap on this side so that the door will open like that. But the 1/8-inch gap, I don't know if you can get it on camera, Dalton, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna face cap the side of this cabinet like this so that there'll be an 1/8-inch line here. And then on this side, the next door will be right there, which will leave an 1/8-inch line on this side. And I really hope that we can keep this thing perfectly square all the way down the bus for the rest of the day. But now what we have to do is actually figure out how to use this new tool that I just got. So we got this concealed hinge jig tool. So this concealed hinge jig tool, is going to help us preset where all of our different hinges are gonna go. So set the adjustments, and then we'll be able to figure out exactly perfectly where our hinges are gonna go and recess them right in like that. So I've actually never used these before, so this is gonna be quite a bit of fun. I'm excited to learn how to use it, and we'll see what the finished product turns out to be. All right, it took quite a bit of time, but Dalton and I, we got our test piece kind of figured out of how we wanted to actually get the hinges all set. We got our tools set, all of our measurements set. So at this point, I think we're ready to just start like actually going now. Like we got it all actually figured it out. All right, and while Dalton is getting these doors starting to get cut, really he's gonna start just cutting out the squares, and then we can start getting all the hinges put in. I'm actually gonna be moving, like I was saying before, the water system down to the bottom. I wanna do it before we get the doors in, just so that I don't have to worry about possibly breaking the doors or hitting them or just, messing around. But what I have here is I have these pieces with the clear tip, and then I have this one, which is a 1/2 inch tip. So this one won't receive our 1/2 inch. This one, we'll try that over again. That one, it does go in, so I need to actually go to the store and see if I can find 5 of those. We have a really small town, a really small store. Let's hope they have 5. Please have 5. I got everything cut out, unfortunately, and you might be wondering, like with these hex fittings and stuff, like these are pretty expensive, but don't worry, because all of these little, rings, we can still save the elbows. They actually make a tool that you can cut these rings off, and then we can save all these parts. So technically, all I've really wasted was maybe some pipe lengths, like these little ones that I can't reuse, and then these rings. So we're still gonna be able to use all these fittings, so a little bit of extra work to redo this, but in terms of like saving these fittings, don't throw these out, just buy the tool to get these little rings cut off. One of the cool things too is the way that we designed this cabinet, all I gotta do is take 3 screws out, and then it kind of just, but I can actually just get it to lift straight up, which means I can still access any of this. So if I ever have a pipe burst or any kind of issue, this little cap here, it's removable, and then it just kind of hits right back in. Dalton's got 2 of the doors done, and you can kind of see what it's gonna look like. We got these guys in here. This cabinet, we need to make some adjustments because we gotta get really close here. It doesn't line up the doors correctly. So we got to make some adjustments here, but it should look like that. And then we got this nice seam right there for the doors. And then this one opens, this one opens. And I just noticed this, and I didn't even mention this to Dalton. But does anyone notice that the grain lines match up perfectly? It's gonna look good. And then this one up here, which I guess we'll probably do next. This one has to get measured out so that it's spaced just like that. And then there'll be a drawer right in there. But dang, I don't know if are you gonna get this one to match, Dalton? Kitchen's coming together. But I have to get this one cabinet done, the water system, before he catches up to me so that he can keep moving with those doors. Did you just go on an EMT call?
I did. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad. He got hit by a snowmobile, but it's okay. Okay, his leg. Let me rephrase. He was talking to a group of people. They pulled up, hit him with the ski and the axle thing right on the bottom of his leg. Yeah. It's a possible fracture. We're hoping it's only like a muscle bruise or something, but he's on his way down to the hospital. He's in great hands. I had a great team, but I headed back because they didn't need 4 people for this. So he's all good right now, breathing okay. Pain management, he's good, but yeah, it was good. Good learning experience for all my classes and stuff.
If anyone doesn't know, Rachel, my sister, is an EMT in town, or she's going to be an EMT in town. Right now she just drives the ambulance, but whenever she gets a chance and she's like helping us out in the bus or she's hanging out at the house and the radio goes off, she like immediately is like in the car running for it. Dalton!
Hey.
Rachel just helped some guy who got hit by a snowmobile.
Yeah, how was that?
He's okay.
He's okay?
He's on
How's
his
the
way
snowmobile?
It's okay, it's fine.
All good things.
All right, I got like half the system dry fit in, so pretty much, I'll get that focusing back there. So there's no rings on it right now, I'm just getting it all test fitted, but what I just grabbed was, where did I do with it? So what I just put in though is this ball valve right here, and then I put this outlet, and I'm gonna put another ball valve on this side. And what that's actually gonna be is it's the first entrance to the system before the tank. So in the winter, this one can get turned to off, which then stops the flow coming from the tank, and then I can open this one, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this pressure valve on it so that in the winter, I can blow the lines out and I can get all the water out of the system, and then won't freeze in the winter. But what I can also do is I can use this pressure gauge to pressurize the system so that I can do tests to make sure that there's no leaks throughout my entire water system. So when I finally get the sink in and the shower in, then I can just close those faucets, run some air into this, typical bicycle pump, standard, pump, and pressurize the system and make sure that we're all good to go before we actually put water into it. Yeah, so if you ever look into how to blow out your system and make sure that you don't have water in there so it doesn't freeze in the winter, consider adding one of these at the beginning of the system. And Dalton's here waiting. He got the next door, so he's sizing it up. He's killing it, by the way. So we got all the plumbing all tied together at this point. Dalton actually just did PEX plumbing for the first time. And yeah, it's all put together now, all nice and tight. So what I'm gonna be working on, the last thing, is getting all the electrical for the water pump ran over to this panel right here. I can't actually finish off this one because I don't have the water heater yet. So once I get the water heater, then I'm gonna run out my lines to the shower, and then I'll also run it up so that we can get ready for the sink. But for now, this is where the water system's going. So once again, thank you, Blake, for making that comment over on Patreon and just noticing that that would have been in the way from the sink. That was a really good, I just didn't catch it. So thanks. This is gonna be a lot better and a lot more out of the way, a lot more accessible in the future to solve any problems. Dalton has all the doors cut, so once I'm out of the way, we can put those in, but he's now measuring the upper doors, so hopefully we just keep on rolling, keep checking things off the list, and hopefully this kitchen, not even hopefully, this kitchen will. This kitchen's gonna look a lot different by the end of this video.
Soon, yeah.
Very soon. Dalton did what I thought was the, bit of the impossible, but he matched the grains all the way down, and it looks good. We still have to get all of our, hardware, all of our different clips to keep the doors closed while we're driving and things, but you can kind of get a good idea of what this is all gonna look like. Just pretty basic doors, basic drawers, but we're trying to keep the clean lines all the way through. So the next thing that we're gonna do is actually try to run through this top section and get all of those placed in. This is gonna be a false face because the sink's gonna be there. And then this one, we're actually gonna be putting a drawer in there, but we have to kind of do some adjustments because the the stovetop is gonna be going on the top. So I still have to figure out what the depth of that is so I know how big my drawer can actually be. But we can at least get these faces cut and laid in place and see what that's gonna look like. We got this top drawer in, and we got our gaps all correct. And honestly, the hardest thing about doing this is making sure that kind of all these lines match up. We're trying to get this next one in, and this one's gonna be a little difficult because it's kind of just a false face. So we gotta find a way to nail it and make it secure. One thing that me and Dalton are noticing right now is he originally made the doors a full 30 inches, but I have a feeling, and he does too, that these are probably gonna warp in the long run. And they're also probably, they're just not gonna be sturdy enough. So I think what we're gonna do is, so we already have the grains matching, so that's a good thing. But we're probably gonna be cutting these in half and then putting other hinges on that side, and the same with this one, just so that it has a little bit more strength to it, and we'll have to put some type of center support. But we can do that down the road. That's not that big of a deal. It's really easy. But that's just exciting. I mean, oh gosh, we probably put the floor plan video up with these concepts and ideas quite a few months ago, and to finally start seeing these faces go in is pretty awesome. And I know Luke, who's not here right now. If you guys have been around the build series for a while, you'll know Luke. Luke, it's coming together, man. And I can't wait till you come back and you get to see this in person. Okay, me and Dalton got all these drawers in right here, but we couldn't actually finish up this one because we have the face cap about a 1/16 inch too short, so all of our lines right here won't end up matching up. So we're gonna have to leave that for another day, but what we're gonna end up doing is just finishing up this last trim piece right here on the edge of the kitchen and see what that kind of looks like. Well, got this trim piece in, and the really nice thing is that we planned this out a long time ago, and it's just so nice when things kind of come together. But that gap is just perfect right here. So I just want to say thank you, Dalton, for today. You really did an awesome job, and I know it was the first time you did cabinets and stuff, first time you did PEX plumbing, but I mean, you really did do an awesome job, so thanks for helping out. But with that said, I mean, we got a good bit done. We still got all these doors to do here, and we're gonna be doing those back there, but it's just really cool to finally see this thing coming together. But now that we got that far into the build, I just want to say thank you for watching. Just remember that if you guys are interested, you can subscribe, check out other build videos, and I just want to say thank you once again to everyone over on Patreon. You know, you guys are just awesome, and once again, thanks Blake for the suggestion on the water system. It definitely helped out, and it's definitely going to make a difference on this build. So, we'll see you next time, and we're going to keep building.